My name is Kevin Mossop. I'm from Gbossing First Nation. I sit on council as deputy chief. I've been on council for 25 years, and I've been sitting board chair for Kinna for I don't know how many years, many years anyways, and even a few more years longer than that as a board representative for my community. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the protocols and protocol agreements between Kinna Channel Family Services and the First Nations we have under our umbrella. First Nations had very little voice in how their families were treated, how the children were treated, and how the community was treated when there was ever a problem in child welfare. Along come Kinna, which was a dream of our chiefs back. It was a dream to have some voice in how our families are dealt with when it comes to any type of child welfare, and that's where Kinna came in. So with the guidance of the leadership, we drafted a way of operating child family services that would satisfy the First Nations, make them happy so that they knew that their families were being dealt with and the respect was being given to those families and children that needed that. Protocol agreement, each individual First Nation has their own protocol agreement on how they want to be dealt with. This is something that has never really been done before. As I said before, mainstream CASs did not really care about what the First Nation thought or even put any thought into what the First Nations rights were when it comes to child welfare. First Nations have always maintained they have the jurisdiction over the families in their communities. The mainstream CASs didn't seem to agree with that. Along come Kinna, and we decided at this time to take care of children their own way, and to take care of the children the proper way. We needed advice, we needed tips, we needed information on how to best take care of these families so that it was a least disruptive process when it comes time to children and family in the communities. So we drafted together, each individual First Nation, like I had said, has their own protocol agreement on how they want to be dealt with whenever there's any child welfare matters that involve their community memberships. With these agreements, these protocols, which were signed by the First Nation and by Kinna, it gave the First Nation a voice that we knew we already had, but we're never given the opportunity to speak on how we should take care of our children that need help or the families that need help in the community. These protocol agreements set aside exactly how, who, what, when, where is responsible throughout the whole process when there is a child welfare concern. It sets out the rules, the roles, actually not the rules, but the roles of what Kinna is supposed to do, and also sets out the roles and responsibilities of what each First Nation is to do when it comes time to a child welfare matter. It sets those out on paper so that everybody understands, so that when our workers go into a community, they will have a knowledge of what this protocol agreement is. They will know exactly how to deal with the First Nation, how to deal with that family, and how to put together the best plan for ensuring that family gets back together or they get the help that they need. It talks about respect, honor, duty to consult with that First Nation on anything that happens with families that happen, with the families that they're dealing with in that First Nation. It gives our workers an idea of what they should and shouldn't do to make sure that they don't violate somebody's rights or violate the inherent rights that the First Nations have when it comes to child welfare. Mainstream agencies do not want to seem to, or MCYS does not want to seem to really acknowledge the fact that it's the First Nations that have that inherent right to take care of their families and their children. It's been like that since the beginning of time. As Kinna come along, it was our role to recognize that each First Nation has that jurisdictional right over those children. We at Kinna, as board chair, I've talked with the board, I've talked with the staff, I've let them know that we're just an agency to deliver services. We haven't got the inherent right over those children, Kinna Child Family Services. It's the First Nation that does. And it's something that the ministry, I know, I've said and I've thrown at them many times in the past, and I know they don't like hearing that. but they hear it anyways. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's part of what my job is. That's what I'm supposed to do. What kin is supposed to do as an organization. So, with that, the protocol agreements, again, it's something that has never really been put together from mainstream CS, but it was told to us, it was asked of us, it was given direction by the chief and councils that we got to put these agreements together so that each First Nation knows exactly how to deal with families and children when it comes to cases or cases or families or children that need help in that First Nation. So with that, thank you.